Every sigh at the dinner table felt heavier than words. I still remember sitting across from my father, his bowl half finished, chopsticks resting quietly as his eyes lingered on me. He didn't say much. He never had to. The silence carried its own message. Provide more, be more, prove more. The clink of dishes filled the space, but underneath it all was the sound of expectation. My parents had sacrificed everything to bring us here, and now, without them saying it, I felt the weight to return that sacrifice with success. That night, I caught myself staring at my son across the table, his small hand reaching for mine. Between their gazes, my father's sigh and my son's smile, I felt split in two, pulled between the duty to honor the past and the longing to be present in the now. It wasn't just money. It was the house I was supposed to buy, the lifestyle I was supposed to maintain, the image of success I was supposed to uphold in front of relatives and community. I whispered to myself, what if I fail them? And that whisper carried more fear than any client rejection ever could. Every sigh at the table felt heavier than words. Maybe you felt that too. The unspoken expectations that press harder than any spoken demand. Cultural duty doesn't show up in contracts or invoices. It shows up in moments. In business, it was the endless hours I poured into work, chasing numbers not only for growth, but to prove worth. Every new deal felt like validation, not just of my business, but of my family's sacrifices. At home, it was guilt, missing bedtime stories, skipping weekends, sitting at the dinner table with my body present, but my mind counting bills. My wife would sigh, not out of anger, but fatigue, a mirror of my own. And culturally, it was pride. Growing up, I was told that providing meant wealth, that success meant status. So when I couldn't meet those standards, I didn't just feel like I failed myself, I felt like I failed my whole family line. Do you know that feeling? When you look at your kids and think, I can't let them down. When you sit with your parents and feel their sacrifices in every silence. When even your achievements feel small because the standard keeps moving higher. That's the strain of cultural pressure. It doesn't stop at your paycheck. It reaches into your soul. I wish someone had told me, providing isn't only money, it's presence. Instead, I told myself, if I don't earn enough, I am not enough. And that belief ate away at every part of me. I thought providing only meant wealth. The sigh at the dinner table wasn't just air leaving lungs. It was the sound of my worth being weighed and found lacking. The breaking point came on a weekend when my father visited. He sat at the head of the table, my kids laughing beside him. I was there, but I wasn't really there. My mind was at the office, counting numbers, replaying bills. Then it happened. Another sigh. Soft, almost unnoticed. But in my chest, it landed like a thunderclap. I whispered to myself, what if I fail them? That was my crisis cue. My body folded inward, shoulders tense, stomach tight, breath caught shallow. My jaw ached from clenching. Even my hands trembled slightly as I held the chopsticks. The food in front of me lost all taste. It felt like no matter how much I worked, no matter how much I earned, I would never be enough. But in that suffocating moment, I looked at my son's hand again, small, warm, reaching for mine. And I realized something. He didn't care about numbers. He cared about me being there. So I turned to the reset. Reset method. 1 is affirmation. I placed my hand over his and whispered under my breath, I am enough as I am. Not as a provider, not as a business owner, but as a father. The words felt foreign at first, but with each repetition, they softened the grip of shame. Reset. Method 2 is breath work, steady presence. I closed my eyes for one long inhale, then exhaled slowly, deliberately, again and again. The sigh that once meant pressure became a sigh of release. Reset. Method 3 is grounded action. I let go of the chopsticks, held my son's hand fully, and just listened to his laughter. That simple act, being there, became proof of a new truth. At that moment, the sigh at the table no longer sounded like judgment. It sounded like air passing through, nothing more. And I noticed a shift. The weight wasn't gone, but it was lighter. I whispered, notice what changed for you, even if just a little. After that pause, the truth came clearer. Providing was never only about money. It was about presence, love, steadiness. I repeated the positive shift. Providing isn't only money, it's presence, love, and steadiness. And I let the words breathe. Worth isn't measured only in wealth, but in presence. That sentence was the freedom I needed. The sigh at the table transformed. Where it once echoed as disappointment, now it became background noise, just breath in and out. What carried weight instead was my child's laughter, my father's quiet pride, my own presence in that moment. That was my symbolic moment, reaching for my child's hand, grounding in what mattered most. And I said aloud, enoughness came from presence, not pressure. Let's practice this together. Wherever you are, take a breath. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Place your hand on the table or on your chest and whisper, I am enough as I am. Feel how that lands. You can use this in business when numbers dip. Instead of spiraling, pause, breathe, remind yourself, my worth is not only my income. At home, when guilt rises for missing time, pause and lean into presence. Even a 5-minute game with your kids counts. And in culture, where wealth often equals honor, remember, honor also lives in love, in care, in steady presence. Providing is not only about what enters the bank account, it's about what fills the heart of those you love. Even one breath, one presence, one hand held, that's provision. The dinner table looks different now. The sighs are still there sometimes, but they no longer crush me, because I know what they mean and what they don't. I provide by who I am, not only by what I earn. That truth steadies me tonight. And I remind myself again, providing isn't only money, It's presence, love, and steadiness. So here's my reflection for you. What does providing mean to you? And what could it mean if you redefined it, not by numbers, but by presence? For me, it was a sigh at the table. For you, it might be something else. But the release is the same. You are more than wealth. You are enough by your presence. And before I close, I want to say this. Tonight, I'm grateful for my son's hand in mine. Grateful that in one simple gesture, I found enoughness again.